Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Guthrie Public Schools Board of Education meeting for January 9th, 2017. Roll call, please.
Pearson.
Here.
Pennington.
Here.
Smedley.
Here.
Bennett Johnson.
Here.
Salih.
Here.
Watts.
Here.
Madam President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. If you would all please stand with me, recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Agenda item number 6, presentation of certified and support employee of the month.
Mr. Ogle?
First up will be our support employee of the month. Charity McPeak will be presenting Michelle Buffer. They will be getting a plaque and a $25 gift card courtesy of Alliance.
I nominated Michelle Bufford as Employee of the Month, Support Employee of the Month, because Michelle's position at Fogarty is not just a job. It's not just a paycheck to her. She has such an upbeat spirit at Fogarty. She's always smiling, dancing, or singing and high-fiving kids. She goes above and beyond what her job at Fogarty is. She takes the time to get to know the kids, and when they're down or dealing with personal issues at home, she's the one they turn to. I have seen this firsthand with my own children. She takes the time that she may not have to talk to them or even have lunch with them one-on-one and just brighten their day. She takes the time to contact their parents just to let them know how they're doing. I am blessed that she loves her job, but more importantly, she loves our kids and wants to make their time at Fogarty the best it can be. I hope you will consider Ms. Bufford as Support Employee of the Month.
Yes. Susan will be presenting our Certified Employee of the Month, and I have to tell you, I had to tell a little white lie because to get this person here, if I'd have told them they were getting Employee of the Month, they would not have shown up. So, Mr. Chappell, will you please come up here? And so if you want to talk to him about the canine dog that you guys will vote on, or anything later, that's what I told him he should do.
Oh, man.
That was good.
Wow.
So he has to stay for the entire meeting, correct?
What list did you say
I'm
you were
getting
on?
you too.
I didn't know anything was wrong.
All right, I nominated John Chappell because, as we all know, John is way out here in the community with all of us, and working hard. Let me know when you're doing it. Let me just say, humble is a wonderful way to describe John Chappell. I have a whole host of other words for him. Yes, they're good words. Coach is a perfect nickname for him, as he is always encouraging everyone to do their best, whether it is concerning athletics or just life in general. John loves the school system and is constantly sacrificing his time to make sure last-minute details are attended to. I have often met John at transportation to pass off those keys and paperwork, or a game that was rescheduled, or a scrimmage that has popped up at the last minute. Helping his coaches may be part of his job, but it's his passion to make sure their life is easier the way it is awesome. He truly loves the students, no matter what sport or class. To hear him speak of the students with his big sense of humor and seriousness, with the eye sparkle of a first-year teacher, should inspire all of the teachers to admire him as a role model. After watching the movie The Final Season, a phrase caught me quite off guard, but then I realized that it is something one would say The phrase was, how do you want to be remembered? I think we all know how John Chapel will be remembered.
I have a long memory, too. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
no, that's good.
okay. Oh, I guess we got, if I'd known it was you, girl. Yeah.
One more.
Thank you so much.
I got you.
You got me.
Nobody usually gets
Congratulations. Agenda item number 7. Comments to the board.
We have no citizens registered.
Are there any comments to the board by any board members? Agenda item 8, superintendent's report.
First item is as you noticed, there's some things at your table here. January's Board of Education Recognition Month. At your seat, you have a small gift from the district to remind you to go Blue Jays, along with a certificate of appreciation from the Oklahoma State School Boards Association. You don't get paid much, you don't get paid anything, but we felt like we needed to at least recognize you for your service. We hope everyone enjoyed their snow day on Friday. School will now be in session on March 10th, which was our first identified snow day in the school calendar. And we posted that on Facebook and the website today. And I believe the news outlets have run some stories reminding parents as well. And the last item, I've got a very brief report this month, but the last item deals with finance. And it's funny, I looked at my report from January of last year, and finance was bleak. And I don't have good news, but I don't have near as bad a news as I had last year at this time. So I guess that's a good thing. We received our midterm adjustment numbers for state aid this year, and we got those on the 4th of January. And we had hoped to have those before the Christmas break, but there were some things that delayed it. And we were higher in weighted ADM by just over 16 weighted students from the initial allocation. And so that means that you would think we might have grown in our midterm adjustment, but I did not expect that actually. So despite the fact that we were 16 weighted students higher, our state aid was cut by $149,021. Here are the things that contributed to that cut. There was growth in our district in local revenue, which means that that's not a total cut in our revenue for the district. The other things that caused the cut, there's growth in total students statewide. Now, one thing that is a signal in our economy that it is not back healthy is that growth has not held the same pace of growth that it has in past years. And then the other thing, and if you heard me give a presentation last year, in fact, I gave the presentation to the board, and some of you, the principals heard the presentations at the sites. One of the things, the caveats that I issued last year was that as the energy sector depressed, we could have other school districts that go back on the state funding formula. And so there were 11 additional schools that began receiving state aid this year due to drops in their local revenue, which is generally traced back to the energy sector. And what this demonstrates is there's a lag time between what we experience in state revenue and what is actually going on in the economy. Because we're seeing a little bit of a rebound right now in the economy and in the energy sector, but we're now feeling some of the full effects of what we felt last year. Dennis and I have looked at everything, and this is not devastating news for us. It is well within where we plan to be. And as we discussed in Finance Committee, we trimmed over $1.5 million out of our budget for this year. And the Finance Committee, we went over where we are in relation to where we were this time last year. And we are in a decent financial position because of the decisions that we made last spring. And it is encouraging that the economy is starting to rebound, but there will be a lag as we see that improvement as well. That's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Sampson. Agenda item 9, consent agenda. Are there any items that need to be pulled?
I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Brings us to agenda item 10, discussion, consideration, and possible action on recommendation from the ad hoc committee charged with exploring possible names for the new elementary school. Before we discuss the candidate or the suggested names, I spoke with Mary Lou Chappell, Holly's wife, on Wednesday of last week. And I'd like to read something in our discussion which she shared with me. The family is honored to know that members of the community have recommended that the new school be named in honor of Holly. However, the family has respectfully declined that recommendation. Holly loved his community, the children, and the schools, but he would not have wanted any recognition for himself. It would not be Holly's wishes to have his name on the school. Again, thank you to all who submitted Holly's name with respect to naming the new school. But we have to pull his name from the suggested names for the new school. That said, we still have two candidates, or two suggested names for the naming of the school. And I believe, do you want to share anything, Dr. Simpson, or shall we?
Well, one thing I would mention, I put at your table, I did a little historical study of the two names, Charter Oak and Woodcrest. And as usual, Kenneth Mitchell was an invaluable source for the history of he can give you history of Logan County that is amazing. And he did again on several things. And then I talked to Frank Davis and Luke Young, the fire chief from Woodcrest Fire Department. And there's some information there for you on the history of both names and how they became items in that part of the county.
Well, as many of you know, we had a contest of sorts, asking the community, anyone, to submit names to us. We ran that left it open for at least 2 months, and the names submitted, then we tallied the names that were submitted the most, and we've come down to Woodcrest and Charter Oak. And those are our two names that we have before the board right now for suggested possible names for the new school in South Logan County. And we're open for discussion. Anybody wants to discuss either of those or anything, any other thoughts?
How close were the numbers as far as the submissions?
Woodcrest was ahead. It was twice as many
Twice as many as Charter Oak.
as Charter Oak.
I'm just going to say something. I'm not giving opinion yay or nay, but I brought some of those names up to see a reaction. And a comment that was made to me was that Charter Oak sounded like a charter school. And I understand where they were coming from when I thought about it, because in Guthrie, we know we don't have charter schools and we don't even qualify for a charter school. But I don't know that our realtors would understand that, or people moving into the community without some kind of explanation that Charter Oak does not mean a charter school, charter public school. Just, that's food for thought.
And of course, for anybody who doesn't know, Charter Oak is the street running east and west that the school will be located on. And there is a big subdivision there, Charter Oak Estates, right by where the new school's gonna be, and there's over probably 100 homes, maybe, in that subdivision. It's a pretty big area, but that's the name, that's why that name was suggested, is that is the name of the road there, and Woodcrest being the other one. There, we did some history on that, which we have here at the board. I mean, we did our due diligence, and if anybody else has any comments or questions, open for suggestions, or if anybody wants to make a motion for
What's
either
the
name.
rush?
Okay,
One of the things the architect has, as we name the school, they want to see if there are things and features that they can incorporate into the design of the school. And there are things right now, we're looking at the plans with the cornerstone and all the things that go into design on the wall, artwork possibly, and things like that. And so that's why they have wanted us to move forward if we can.
I don't know how the other board members feel about the names. I always kind of suggested the name early on, Charter Oak Hills. I like the hills in the end because of the topography out there.
it is pretty hilly.
But I'm pretty neutral. I mean, Woodcrest, growing up in that area, Woodcrest always denoted that area. I'm not sure that that's my favorite name. I do like the Charter Oak. Charter Oak does, obviously there was a school out there at one time on Charter Oak, named Charter Oak School. I mean, what are the alternatives? Do the other board members have any ideas, any names you like, any historical significance for the district?
I mean, again, we we had this out there on the website and in the paper and everything for over 2 months. And what are there, about 75 entries, which we all had a copy of. I mean, I wish, I don't know if we delay it. What do we do, open it up again and hope for more people to submit? Or unless somebody has a suggestion? I mean, we're going by what, we opened it up to the community because we want their input. And we agreed with that, and just something that we wanted them to be a part of. And I mean, short of that, I don't know what to do from here. If anybody has any, other suggestions or something. I mean, these are the two names that had the most, other than Holly Chapel, I'll tell you. But the Chapel family has respectfully declined. So those are our two before us, and I don't know. Anybody else have anything they want to, say or?
It looks like to me there's a little hesitation. I'd ask that you table it till the next meeting and get everybody thinking about it. If you're not sure what you want to do, table it. If you are, somebody make a motion. But I'm with Janae. I tell you, I had my heart set on naming it after Mr. Chapel because I don't think there's been a finer man that walked the streets in this town, in my opinion. But I have the greatest respect for all those members of that family, and I understand them, honor it in any way I can. But I think Woodcrest, and I don't know if it just doesn't spark to be. I'm sorry, it just doesn't spark to me to be a. But I'm not from that area, and I would set out if you want to name it down there because, like Mr. Sully said, it's known in that area since he was young down there. So.
Well, when we both live out in that area, so we're familiar with the names, both of them, because that's our section out there. Because we are in South Logan County, and that's what we know out there. And there were other names that maybe the same person suggested 10 times, but we had to discount that because. So, and I mean, short of opening it up again, or like you said, tabling it. I don't know if that's something that's possible. And if you want to table it for another meeting,
I mean, I'm comfortable making a motion to name it either
Either
name,
one.
preferably Charter Oak, but it's not, certainly not gonna hurt my feelings if the rest of the board
Mhm.
just doesn't like the name. I mean,
Well, I think either one of them kind of signifies the location of the school and where it's going to be, and I think that's probably our best option. There was a lot of names that were proposed. Grown up with the Chapel family, known them my whole life. But there was a lot of other people that were significant in our community that have contributed to our school district and our kids and our community, and I would never want to lessen their contribution by trying to choose someone over somebody else, because they've all been very, impactful to our community and our schools. So I'm with Travis. I mean, I'm comfortable with making a selection from one of the two that's been proposed. I mean, we put it to the public. This is the most, popular two that we had, and I think it's the community school. It's not our school.
that's right.
So I think we need to go with what we've got.
Anybody else? Jennifer, no thoughts?
I'm not from this area, and I know that this is a very passionate subject for a lot of those that have grown up in the community. And I love Guthrie as my community now, but I don't have the history that a lot of the individuals bring to
Right.
the group.
And Janae and I talked about some of the history of some of the other schools, the names, and when we started this whole thing, I didn't know how some of the other schools got their names until Mike shared with us and Janae shared some, and, this is what, it's like Tina said, this is, Tina, myself, and Travis were on the committee, and we got these names, and in fact, everybody received a copy of this on the whole board, and this is what the community said. And I'm in favor of, I'm good with going ahead too, but it's whatever the majority
I don't know
wants.
that opening it up, we're going to get, we could drag it out for 6 months, hoping that
Exactly.
we're going to get the perfect name,
And
and it may not ever
I'd be
happen.
interested too, if a board member has another suggestion that they think maybe is historically significant to the district, aside from an individual or a family name. I mean, are there any other names that should be considered, you believe, or?
I don't.
we're ready for a motion, if anybody wants to make one, either way.
Do you believe it's important to go with the majority there on the public input? You think, I've seen a lot of Charter Oak, but I would not have realized it was twice as many Woodcrest.
I've got it alphabetized too somewhere. but-
That's okay. I'd make a motion to name the elementary Charter Oak. Elementary.
Second.
Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 11, proposed executive session for the purpose of discussing employment of personnel, FMLA request, resignation, separation from employment, and transfer of position request. All is set out on the personnel reports and periodic annual evaluation in terms of employment of Dr. Michael Simpson, Superintendent of Schools, disclosure of which information would violate the confidentiality requirements of state and/or federal law, all pursuant to 25 Oklahoma statutes, Section 307, B, 1 and 7.
I make a motion that we go into executive session?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, this will acknowledge the board's return to open session. Only items in agenda number 11 were discussed in executive session and no votes were taken. This shall constitute the executive session minutes. Agenda item 12, vote on action as set out on the personnel reports.
I make a motion that we approve the personnel reports?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 13, recommendation, consideration, and action to accept any resignations offered since the posting of the agenda.
We have none.
Agenda item 14, discussion and possible action on new business not known about or could not have been reasonably foreseen at the time of the agenda posting.
We have none.
Agenda item 15,
Thank you, Fred.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
roll call, please.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Smedley.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
6 ayes, 0 nays.